Hello and welcome to Rando Rob. Each week on Rando Rob, I'll be showing and discussing one item from my large collection of collections. New shows appear every Monday, and throughout the week, I'll be adding older episodes of Rando Rob that were previously only available to my Patreon subscribers. You can watch episodes of Rando Rob on YouTube at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. Just look for the Rando Rob playlist. Audio versions of the show are available on my website at podcast.robohara.com or through iTunes. Just search for Rando Rob. Thanks for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy this vintage episode of Rando Rob. So on the picture to the right, you can see there is a vintage 3 3/4 inch Stormtrooper action figure. This would have been a 1978 action figure, one of the first 12 released by Kenner. Everybody knows that Star Wars came out in 1977, and Kenner didn't have any action figures ready by 1977, the Christmas of 77, and so they sold the early bird package, and you basically bought a voucher that said next year you get these action figures. So 1978 was the first year you could buy Star Wars action figures. And so right there you can see the traditional Stormtrooper action figure. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I'm sure you recognize the figure there. And as you can see there, he has his little blaster. Now, as a kid and having that, I wanted a Star Wars blaster. And they did eventually sell Star Wars blasters. They sold a Han Solo one. They sold a Stormtrooper gun. It didn't look exactly like the one in the movie, but it was a rifle kind of thing with an arm stock that converted. And, I just wanted to run around and play Star Wars. But they didn't look... The Han Solo one does look like the one in the movie. I never thought that the Stormtrooper one looked that close. I guess it does in a way, but I didn't think it looked that close to the guns that were in the movie. And it didn't look at all like the gun that came with the action figure. I mean, you could see what that looks like. It looks like a blaster, but you could hold it with one hand. There's a little cartridge spot. There's a little kind of scope area on top. So when 3D printing people first started buying 3D printers, and I remember being on Facebook or somewhere on the internet. Maybe it was a forum. I think it was Facebook, maybe a Facebook group. And there was a guy who had a printer, and he said he had figured out a way with his system to scan an item in. So he had a camera system where he could essentially digitize a real life object, and then he could clean it up in a CAD program, and he could then resize it and print it any size he wanted. And he was doing some different experiments or whatever. And so he started printing these and selling the 3D prints on Facebook. So this is a 3D printed version. You know what? If I can orient it, nope, this way. A 3D version of the Stormtrooper gun that you are looking at over there on the left. I would have killed to have this as a kid. When you see it up close, you see, well, there's no trigger. There's no, I think this is called like the trigger guard. There's no, the scope is like attached, and there's nothing. I mean, it almost feels like it's cut out of a piece of balsa wood. It's pretty light. And does it look like the one in the movies? No. Does it look like the one that they sold? Nope. What is it? It is identical to the one that came with the little action figures. It is just blown up to, grown-up size. I see these a couple of white spots on here, and so I believe what this was 3D printed in white resin, and then it was painted, and it's been sitting out in my garage and getting scuffed around a little bit, and I think a little bit of the paint has come off, so I'll probably shoot this with some black spray paint. Now, the fact that I know more about 3D printing than I used to, I can see some of the imperfections, and some of it, I actually almost feel like, it's not wood, but it sure feels like, it almost feels like a chunk of balsa wood. But I know for a fact it's 3D printed, and I'll tell you why here in just a moment. But this thing, this is great. I can't tell you how happy this makes me just to hold this and just feel like I'm one of those action figures, like pew 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 pew. You know, like I just absolutely love this thing. And so right after I buy, and I don't remember what I paid for this. I mean, I want to say it was like it was more. Like if it was $10, I would have bought 100 of them, and I would have given them to all my Star Wars friends. It wasn't $10, but it wasn't 100. You know, I want to say it was like 40, maybe 30, something somewhere in that range. I mean, it was enough where you go, you know, I guess if you want it. But there's so many things in life. My Picsou screen that I've talked about before, which is stuck on the right now, it reset. My wireless went out yesterday, so those are the default pictures that I put on it. Kung Fu Master and the Pirate Flag and the Biker Scout from Return of the Jedi. But people have said, well, you know, try to sell me on that thing. You know, I mean, it was almost $200. Like, sell me. What would get me to buy that? And I go, like, if you see it and you go, I love that and I love pixel artwork and I got to have that, then you're sold. But there's nothing I could say that's going to make you like that more than what it's doing right now sitting there. You know what I mean? And this is the same way. Like, I mean, I'm not a good salesman. Like, I'm not going to go, well, the good points of this is, no, there's no sales points. It's literally, if you see this and you go, that is funny or hilarious or awesome, then you would buy it. And that's exactly what I did. So after buying that, the guy ended up making a couple more. One was a Jawa blaster, which I did not buy, and I feel like it was significantly more expensive because it was a rifle. But this is the other one. And so this is Han Solo's blaster. And again, if you are familiar with the old Star Wars action figure toys, this is an exact replica of the little pistol that Han Solo came with. So, you know, it resembles the one that's in the movie, but I mean, you got to think that the original is, you know, this big or that big, something like that. And then it has been blown up. So it's intentionally made without a lot of detail, right? I mean, it has the little lines on the grip. There's a square and some cutouts and stuff, but obviously no barrel, no hole in the barrel or anything like that. And then you've got the little scope on the side, just like Han's blaster. I love it so much. So I had these sitting out in my garage, and I was moving stuff around, and I knocked this one off of a shelf. Now I'm picking at glue, which I should not do on this camera. I do not want to break this thing. And this part from here, right here, forward, broke off. This whole piece broke off. And inside there, you can see the telltale signs of 3D printing. It has all the little plastic hash marks, almost looks like a honeycomb kind of thing, and it's all white plastic, and then has been painted black on top of that. So, and this one feels the weight and the texture and everything feels identical to the other one. So that's how I know that it's not balsa wood, that it's been 3D printed, is because unfortunately I have seen inside this one. And recently I have been on, since I moved to this house and I set up my workshop, I have been purchasing Ryobi tools. I don't necessarily think that Ryobi is better or worse. I think they're good. I don't think they're professional quality tools, but I think they're contractor. You know, I think if you're a home contractor, and I mean, for what I do, they're perfect. And they have the interchangeable battery system. So once you have a battery, they do sell batteries of different sizes, not physical sizes. Well, they are. Some of them are physically bigger, but, that will hold more amps or volts or whatever. Not volts. They're all 18-volt batteries. But the point is, like, I have a bigger one that I use because I have a Ryobi saw, and I have a smaller one that I use for my drill, and I have a big one that I use on my Ryobi nail gun. I think it's Ryobi actually, but I always say Ryobi. But anyway, I was on Amazon and they were on sale, and I bought a Ryobi glue gun. It looks like a scaled down drill. The glue stick sticks out of bottom. It's just like those glue guns that we had in the 80s, but except instead of a long cord, on the bottom of it, you use the Ryobi battery, which is interchangeable for all those things. And now I have a hot glue gun. And I bought it without a purpose. Like, I didn't have a project I was waiting on. I just knew, I was like, man, I wouldn't mind having a glue gun. There's been times in the past where I wished I had one or something, and I just didn't have one. So I bought it. It's been sitting on the shelf for 6 months. And when I broke this thing, I was sitting there thinking, like, what on earth? I think you're right. If you look right in the backside, you can see just the trim. See that white that's in there? I'm going to reshoot that with some black paint. It's not lined up 100%. It's lined up like 99%. It's, as we like to say, it's close enough for government work. But anyway, so yeah, now there's like this little thing that's just hitting the light, and I know it's going to break off when I'm doing this. But anyway, I was able to get enough hot glue on there and put this on, and I clamped it, and I left it longer than I probably needed to. I left it for like half a day because I didn't need it, and got it all set back on. There we go. I just had to get, there's a little extra glob of glue sitting on there. There we go. It's like picking at a skin tag or something, you know what I mean? There's that little justifying moment at the end where it comes off. But anyway, so this is it. This is the Han Solo blaster, and this is the Stormtrooper blaster. Which Stormtrooper is the first figure that came with this, but lots and lots of characters use this gun. I think Walrus Man came with this gun, and Hammerhead came with this gun. Like, lots of action figures came with it, so it's very iconic if you played with Star Wars guns as a kid. And I like, there's something about playing with scale that I enjoy. I don't know how to really explain it. I mean, I have a slice of pizza out in my garage that's 4 foot tall, and I paid too much for it. But when I saw it, I was like, I like a large slice of vinyl giant pizza. And so there's something about, now I just can't stop picking up this extra little bead of glue that poked out here. But you know what I mean? Like, there's just something about scale, like things that are really small or things that are really big, that I enjoy. And maybe that, look at that little tiny piece of glue is off there. And so maybe that's what appeals to me about the tiny house thing or the camper thing. Maybe, I don't know. Not a psychologist. Could probably use one. So anyway, I just thought you guys might enjoy seeing these. I 3D printed, but I don't know where they are. At my last house, I 3D printed some little hooks so that I can mount these on the wall. And so that's probably what I will do, is 3D print some little wall things like this so that I can hang these up. Maybe over the doorway, or maybe back there by the Star Wars stuff or something. So anyway, I got lots of podcasting to do. I got lots of other projects to do. So no more time on Rando Rob. But as always, thank all you guys. I owe a lot of people some thank you messages. We had a lot of new people sign up for Patreon over the past week or two, and so I will get those messages out today. If you aren't a member of the Amigos Discord, I'll get you the invites to those as well. And I think that's everything. So thank you guys. Thank you for all your support. I'm looking forward to doing some podcasting this week. I wish I was doing it from a van, but I'll have to do it from right here in the old recording studio. Anyway, take care, everybody, and you will be hearing from me soon.